Next is the CI engine, which is compression ignition engine. Now this compression ignition engine also uses 4 strokes. There are 4 strokes. First is suction stroke, then compression stroke, then expansion stroke, and then exhaust stroke, as that of in SI engine. So, but here we are having a little differences in the CI engine. So let us first understand those differences with respect to the SI engine, then it will be very clear how the CI engine functions. So the differences between SI and CI engine. First difference, SI engine works on Otto cycle, CI engine, compression ignition engine, works on diesel cycle. Second, SI engine uses petrol as a fuel, but CI engine uses diesel as a fuel. Third difference is very important difference. In SI engine we have carburetor and spark plug. In CI engine we do not have carburetor and spark plug. Instead we are having fuel pump and fuel injector. Now why this materials are used, why these components are used in CI engine, we will get into the detail. Next, the compression ratio of SI engine is less, which varies from 6 to 10, whereas the compression ratio of the CI engine is more, which varies from 12 to 24. Next, SI engine are the high speed engine, that is because of the light weight of the engine and because of homogeneous combustion, whereas CI engine are having the low speed engine because of the heavy weight and heterogeneous combustion. Next, the maximum value of thermal efficiency in SI engine is lower because of the lower RK, lower compression ratio, whereas in CI engine maximum value of thermal efficiency is more because of the higher value of compression ratio, as we have seen that efficiency depends on compression ratio. And last, again very important difference, that heat added in the SI engine is in Otto cycle, heat added in Otto cycle is at constant volume, whereas heat added in diesel cycle is at constant pressure. Okay, so these are the differences, out of which the very important difference, as I told you, in SI engine we have spark plug, but in CI engine we do not have the spark plug and carburetor. So how does the CI engine functions? Because they are we have 4 strokes. So the very first stroke is the suction stroke. Just understand this functioning very carefully. The very first stroke of this diesel engine, is the suction stroke. Now instead of air fuel mixture which we used in SI engine, here we are having only air, just we are having the air. After getting filtered, that air is sucked inside that cylinder. Okay, this is the first stroke. So I am telling you the difference. In SI engine we were having the air fuel mixture gets sucked in, and in CI engine only air is getting sucked in. So we do not need carburetor. First thing, this was the first stroke. Second stroke, that air will be compressed. Okay, in second stroke the air will be compressed. At the end of second stroke, now we are having a injection plug there. Okay, here we were having the air and that air got compressed to a very high pressure, high temperature. Now at this high pressure and high temperature, if I am injecting the diesel in it, it will immediately catch fire. Okay, so because the ignition point of diesel is less as compared to that of the petrol. Okay, so at that high pressure and high temperature we do not need ignition spark plug here for ignition. So here we are just injecting the fuel, and as soon as that fuel gets injected to the high pressure, high temperature air, it catches fire and the combustion process occurs. Now this combustion process, as I told you, is a constant pressure combustion and not the constant volume combustion, unlike in the case of Otto cycle. This is a constant pressure combustion. Now what does this mean? Constant pressure combustion means, in constant volume combustion, as I told you, we assumed that the piston was at TDC, it stayed there till the combustion process ends, and then after it travels towards the BDC. But here in diesel engine we are having constant pressure combustion. Constant pressure combustion means the piston gets to TDC and immediately start getting to the BDC, towards BDC, and the combustion process is started. This is known as a constant, because if the pistons will stay there, if the volume is constant and if the combustion process is happening, obviously the pressure will increase. So in order to maintain the pressure as constant, we will have to increase the volume as well. So after getting to the TDC, piston starts traveling down, and in the meanwhile the combustion process is happening. Now let us suppose up to a certain point the combustion process ends. This phenomena is called as the cutoff phenomena. This process is called as the cutoff process. That means the piston traveling from TDC towards BDC up to a certain point till the combustion is over. After that, the remaining portion of the stroke will be covered during the expansion stroke by that piston. Okay, so this is the third stroke, which is known as the expansion stroke. And at last stroke, obviously this exhaust valve will be opened and the remaining flue gases, heat is rejected at constant volume. Obviously heat was added at constant pressure, but heat rejection takes place at constant volume only. So in before last stroke, the heat is rejected at constant volume, and then after that it will travel towards TDC, towards top dead center, and will drive the flue gases out of the engine. Getting this? So this is the whole process of this diesel engine. So here we are having first stroke as suction stroke, in which air is getting sucked in. The piston moves from TDC to BDC. After the first stroke, inlet valve gets closed, and in second stroke the air is then compressed. The piston moves from BDC to TDC. Okay, the air which was inside is getting compressed. So we are having now the high pressure, high temperature air, and here the fuel, after this stroke, the fuel will be injected on that air. And as soon as fuel is injected, it catches fire, combustion process occurs. Okay, up to the cutoff point, the combustion process occurs, and then third stroke is the expansion stroke. Then after expansion stroke, heat is rejected at constant volume, and after that the fourth stroke is the exhaust stroke, in which piston again travels from BDC to TDC and driving all the flue gases out of the engine. So this is the whole process how diesel engine works. And this is the reason why compression ratio in this diesel cycle is more as compared to that in Otto cycle, because in Otto cycle we were having the spark plug, that spark plug ignites the fuel, but here it has to be ignited on the basis of the high pressure and high temperature, which purely depends on the compression ratio. More is the compression ratio, more will be the pressure and temperature at the end of the compression stroke, and immediately then after that, as soon as the fuel is injected, the diesel is injected, it will catch fire. So the compression ratio in diesel engine is more as compared to that of the petrol engine. Now let us draw the PV and TS diagram for this diesel cycle, very important. So first is the PV diagram. P is taken in the y axis and V in the x axis. So initially the first process is the compression stroke. Obviously suction and exhaust, as I told you, can be eliminated. First is the compression stroke. So we assume this compression as the reversible adiabatic compression, process 1 to 2. Then 2 to 3 is the constant pressure heat addition process. Now since pressure is constant, so it will be a horizontal line. Then 3 to 4 is the expansion process, again reversible adiabatic expansion process 3 to 4, and then 4 to 1 is a constant volume heat rejection process, constant volume process, a vertical line. So this process, this cycle 1 2 3 4 is nothing but the diesel cycle. Now similarly we can draw the TS diagram out of it. Process 1 2 is a reversible adiabatic compression process. Okay, so reversible adiabatic compression in TS diagram would be a vertical line 1 to 2. Then 2 to 3 is a constant pressure curve. Okay, constant pressure curve we can draw, and as we know that the slope of constant pressure is always less than that of the constant volume. Okay, so 2 to 3 is constant pressure. Then 3 to 4 again reversible adiabatic expansion process, a vertical line. Then 4 to 1 is again constant volume heat rejection process. Okay, so this constant volume heat rejection process will have the higher slope as compared to the constant pressure heat addition process. Okay, so this is how the PV and TS diagram for this diesel cycle can be drawn. Now what will be the value of heat addition and heat rejection? Q1. Q1, as we know, is in process 2-3, which is a constant pressure process, and heat added at constant pressure is nothing but mCp del T. So this Q1 will be equal to mCp into T2 T3 minus T2 mCp del T. Similarly, Q2 heat rejection at constant volume, so this will be equal to mCv T4 minus T1. So efficiency will be equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. So this will be if I put the value, this will be 1 minus T4 minus T1 upon T3 minus T2. Now what we can do is we can convert all temperature in terms of any one temperature. Suppose I am converting T4 in terms of T3, T2 in terms of T3, and T1 again in terms of T3 by using simple adiabatic relations. T2 by T1 is equal to V1 by V2 to the power gamma minus 1, and so on. So from here, if we determine the formula, the efficiency will be equal to 1 minus 1 by gamma into Rk to the power gamma minus 1. In numerator, we are having Rc to the power gamma minus 1 upon Rc minus 1. This is the formula for efficiency of the diesel cycle. Now here there are two different ratio. One is in the compression process from 1 to 2 it is getting compressed. So, the ratio is compression ratio RK, which is nothing but V1 by V2, volume before compression to volume after compression. Now, there is one more ratio, that is cutoff ratio here, because as I told you, the cutoff process takes place during the heat addition process. So, 2-3 is a heat addition process, and the ratio of volume here is nothing but the cutoff ratio. So, RC cutoff ratio will be equal to V3 by V2. Okay, these ratios are always, if you are getting confused that when we have to take V1 by V2, or should it be V2 by V1, or should it be cutoff ratio be V2 by V3 or V3 by V2. So, in order to remove your confusion, just remember one thing, that all such ratios which we are taking, whether it be compression ratio, cutoff ratio, expansion ratio, the ratio of all these values will be greater than 1. The value of all these ratios is always greater than 1. That means you have to keep the higher volume in numerator and lower volume in denominator, as simple as that. So, RK is equal to V1 by V2 because V1 is greater than V2. RC compression ratio is V3 by V2 because V3 is greater than V2. Okay, so these are the cutoff ratio and the compression ratio. Now, you can compare this efficiency with respect to the Otto cycle. In Otto cycle, the efficiency was 1 minus 1 by RK to the power gamma minus 1. Now, here we are having some extra term apart from 1 minus 1 by RK to the power gamma minus 1, we are having 1 by gamma into RC to the power gamma minus 1 upon RC minus 1. Now, as I have already told you that RC is always greater than 1, the value of cutoff ratio is greater than 1. This means 1 by gamma into RC to the power gamma minus 1 upon RC minus 1 should always be greater than 1. Because RC is greater than 1 and gamma is again greater than 1. So, this 1 by gamma, the second terminology, if I remove RK from there, so that 1 by gamma into RC to the power gamma minus 1 upon RC minus 1 is always greater than 1. Now, what does this mean? This means if I compare the efficiency of both the cycles of Otto and diesel cycle with same compression ratio, if RK remains same in both, then obviously the efficiency of diesel cycle will be less than that of the Otto cycle. Just remember this thing, this is for the same compression ratio, because in difference, if you remember, I told you that the efficiency of the diesel cycle is more. That was because the compression ratio we were taking was more. But here if I consider the same compression ratio, if RK is same for both the cycles, then obviously the efficiency of diesel cycle is less as compared to that of the Otto cycle. The efficiency of diesel cycle is less as compared to Otto cycle for same compression ratio. And at the same time, the efficiency of Otto cycle is more, no doubt, but at the same time the time taken by the Otto cycle is also more, because here in diesel cycle we are having a cutoff process. That means the piston gets to the TDC and during combustion it started traveling towards the PDC. Okay, that means there was a cutoff process and the time taken in diesel cycle would be obviously be less as compared to that of the Otto cycle. Okay, time taken is less means the power developed obviously should be more, because power developed is what? Work done per unit time. So, if time taken is less, so the power developed is more. So, no doubt for same compression ratio the efficiency of Otto cycle is more, but at the same time the time taken by Otto cycle is also more as compared to that of the diesel cycle. So, can't there be some way in between the Otto cycle and diesel cycle, because in Otto cycle the heat was added at constant pressure, in diesel cycle the heat is added, in Otto cycle the heat was added at constant volume, in diesel cycle heat is added at constant pressure. So, can't there be some way between? So, mixing the advantages of the two cycles, we can have another cycle which is called as a mixed cycle, or you can call it as dual cycle. So, in this we will be having a good efficiency obviously with the more power, the less time consumed. So, this is actually, as I told you, is the mixture of the two cycle of Otto and diesel cycle. So, what happens here is in Otto cycle heat was added at constant volume, in diesel cycle heat was added at constant pressure. So, in this mixed cycle or dual cycle, part of the heat will be added at constant volume and remaining part of the heat will be added at constant pressure. Okay, and heat rejection obviously will be at constant volume only. Okay, so we are combining the advantages of the two cycle, Otto cycle and diesel cycle. We are getting another cycle that is called as the dual cycle. Okay, so I will just directly draw the PV diagram for this. So the process 1-2 obviously is a constant pressure, a reversible adiabatic compression process. Then process 2-3 is a constant volume heat addition process. Process 3-4 is a constant pressure heat addition process. So a part of heat is added at constant volume from 2-3. Remaining part is added at constant pressure 3-4. Then we are having 4-5 as reversible adiabatic expansion process where work is done, and then 5-1 is again constant volume heat rejection process. So this is called as the dual cycle. A part of heat is added at constant volume, remaining part is added at constant pressure. If I draw the TS diagram, so how would be the TS diagram? 1-2 is reversible adiabatic compression process, a vertical line, isentropic process. 2-3 is a constant volume heat addition process, and 3-4 is a constant pressure heat addition. So you can see in the figure that the constant volume process is having more slope as compared to constant pressure. So 2-3 a constant volume heat addition, 3-4 a constant pressure heat addition, then 4-5 again reversible adiabatic expansion process, and then 5-1 is a constant volume heat rejection process. So this 5-1 curve will be parallel to the constant volume heat addition process. Getting this? With the slope of, as I told you, slope of constant volume process is more as compared to constant pressure in case of TS diagram. Okay, so this is how the dual cycle, the PV diagram of PV and TS diagram of the dual cycle are. And efficiency obviously we can get from here. Q1 is equal to mCV T3 minus T2 plus mCP T4 minus T3. 2-3 is constant volume heat addition, 3-4 is constant pressure heat addition. So Q1 will be equal to mCV T3 minus T2 plus mCP T4 minus T3. Q2 is constant volume heat rejection. So Q2 will be equal to mCV T5 minus T1. Process 5-1 is a heat rejection process. Okay, here we are having certain ratios. First is the compression ratio RK, which is equal to V1 by V2. Next is the cutoff ratio RC. Okay, so the cutoff here is taking place in process 3-4. So cutoff ratio will be equal to V4 by V3. Then we have the expansion ratio RE. Here expansion ratio will be equal to V5 by V1. V5 by V4. Process 3-4-5 is the expansion process, and as I told you, higher volume, ratio of higher volume to lower volume. Okay, so V5 by V4 is nothing but expansion ratio, which is called as RE. Okay, and one thing we can draw from here, that total RK is equal to RC into RE. So if you want to determine the value of RE, expansion ratio, it will be the ratio of compression ratio RK to the cutoff ratio RC. Getting this now? Okay, and from here, apart from this, we have one more ratio, which is RP, which is a constant volume pressure ratio. Okay, we have a constant volume heat addition process from process 2-3. Now the pressure is changing here from P2 to P3. So the ratio of this change in pressure is nothing but the constant volume pressure ratio, which is denoted by RP, which is equal to P3 by P2. Getting this one? And from this we will get the formula for efficiency of dual cycle, 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Same process you can follow. If you want, you can look out for the proof in your textbooks. Okay, I will directly tell you the formula. So this efficiency of dual cycle will be equal to 1 minus 1 by RK to the power gamma minus 1 into RP into RC to the power gamma minus 1 upon RP minus 1 plus gamma into RP into RC minus 1.